I've lived in Hong Kong since 1992, and I'm now planning on leaving. Hong Kong has changed irrevocably. It's not going to go back to what it was, and we've seen the best days, and it has accentuated that feeling that this is the right time to go. So this is what I looked like 30 odd years ago. It's probably 28 years ago or so, actually. Young, smart, still had hair. And I do remember the scaffolding on Nathan Road with all the neon at night. And it was very, very atmospheric. And it just reminded me so much of Blade Runner. Hong Kong was such a freewheeling, free society. People really have no filter in how they express themselves. When you look at the media, as it used to be, very kind of vigorous. And we are here in the FCC, and this is where I have my first journalism interview. So that this place has a certain significance for me, something that I wouldn't forget easily. So this is Chungking Mansions. This is the first place I came to when I got off the plane. It's the place to come, or certainly used to be, if you want a fake Rolex watch, or a cheap curry, or indeed a cheap dormitory bed. It just really hasn't changed at all. So, to my memory anyway. I think one of the striking things about Hong Kong is just how you have these extremes of wealth. You've got Chungking Mansions, which is one end of the scale, and you literally cross the road and you go to the most august, grand hotel in Hong Kong. First time I came to the peninsula was when I was sent here to interview James Tien, a local business figure and politician. His secretary said to me, "He'll meet you in the peninsula," and I said, "Where's that?" And his secretary laughed at me and said, "You're working in Hong Kong and you don't know where the peninsula is." So that was my first visit here. I didn't realise I had been living opposite it after I first arrived in Hong Kong, but in a quite different environment. Hong Kong, when I arrived here, was in the middle of a massive economic boom. The city was sort of brimming over with nervous anxiety, that everyone was in a hurry to make money, to get foreign passports, to move out, or at least have a route out. Well, of course, there's the handover itself from '97. The sovereignty had changed. It was now part of China again. Life just really kind of carried on as normal. Quite interesting to see just, how the skyline has changed. There's a lot of new buildings. It's kind of interesting. The Hong Kong Convention and Exhibition Centre over there hadn't been built. The land that stands on was also sea at the time. That's where they held the handover ceremony 25 years ago. I think there was more of a sense of possibility when I arrived in '92. Things were still kind of growing fast. China was sort of in some ways still kind of getting started. And I think as Hong Kong got richer and richer and richer, obviously, and the young people, the young generation particularly, don't seem to feel that sense of possibility that was there 25, 30 years ago. The biggest change by far was the passing of the National Security Law 2 years ago. This time, all the apprehension about what might happen after 1997, the things that people feared have already happened now in Hong Kong. I see the 25th anniversary as being something quite sombre, really, I think, for most people in Hong Kong. I mean, we know the majority of people in Hong Kong supported democracy, wanted to see wider democracy here, and those hopes have been seemingly conclusively crushed now. But I don't think that people fundamentally have changed. I think they're the same. And there are many things that I love about the way Hong Kong people are. Resilience, adaptability, and a never say die attitude, and also kind of humour and irreverence as well. I will miss Hong Kong. There's many things I will miss about Hong Kong.